just so I don't forget. So
Dang
now
it.
it's recording.
God dang it, man.
Well, I forgot I was trying to get all that Discord stuff set up.
I was about to say, like, we missed this whole conversation about, like, the South. I'm like, God damn it. So much information that no one would be able to use, yet was still fucked with it.
Yeah. Now I started recording right in the middle of it, so now people's gonna be like, "What happened?"
What happened was it got cut off. That's what happened.
Huh. I will say though, Northern Pizza, brick
I
oven
think
pizza.
I've had Northern pizza. I've had Southern pizza, not Northern.
Northern Pizza, I don't know what they do with it. They got some magic fingers, man. They
What does
made
it
a
taste like?
for some reason like a completely different pizza.
Really?
There was this one piece of pizza I had that was as thin as paper.
Uh-huh.
You eat one slice and you felt like you ate an entire pizza.
Wow, that's impressive. That is impressive.
And with them using oven bricks, they're using like a certain type of coal and certain bricks. When that pizza comes out, so good.
Now, see, the one thing I love down here is Shake Pit.
What's that?
I have to explain this. Oh, God. Okay, so first off, Shake Pit is a restaurant over here in Florida. But it is also a place where we buy burgers and ice cream, that kind of thing.
That sounds pretty cool.
But the shakes over there, they are delicious.
What about the fried chicken over there? Is it better? I don't know. Being that I'm in Kentucky, I think our Kentucky Fried Chicken probably outbeats any other state.
I don't really eat a lot of chicken.
I don't either. It's rare, but when I do, Kentucky's KFC.
I'm not gonna lie. Every time you move your shoulder and I see a white dot behind you, I'm like, "Is that a record button? What is that?"
Oh no, that's my TV. It's a clock.
I keep seeing that on my end. There's just the bright lights of a dot.
Yeah. Basically, I just leave that on whenever I'm not watching TV, because then I can just look behind me and see what time it is.
That's good.
Although this camera sucks, so it doesn't really show it. It's so blurry, probably, to you.
No, it's pretty good.
Oh.
Let's see. Can I zoom in? Yeah, let me see if I can zoom in. Yeah, it's not that blurry. Pretty good. Pretty clear on my end.
I've got my main apps, like Paramount.
I was about to say, like, what are you talking about? It's pretty clear on my end.
Huh. I don't know. Maybe the playback on my end just doesn't look right. All right, though. So I guess we'll just go ahead and start then now that we finally got the chance to, because not on his part, but on my part. This should have been. This was supposed to be made a long time ago.
Lie.
Okay.
He's just giving the face of the fuck you talking about, boy.
Okay, so first question.
All right.
What made you want to start YouTube?
That is a good question. Let me think about it.
No problem at all.
I think it was mostly because I saw like a lot of videos and people just creating things. I'm like, you know what? Let's see what I can make on here and see if anyone will actually watch it.
Was your channel always what it is like now, or did you start out doing something different?
Absolutely not.
What was your channel before?
Well, the name was still the same, but the channel itself was more of like a Let's Play channel.
Mine went from meme reviewing to Let's Plays.
I still have some of the videos, actually, I think, in my channel. But yeah, you have to go like really deep in the channel to find them.
My whole name was completely different. like completely different.
What was it before?
It was just KT Entertainment, and then when I started just doing more gaming, I was like KTC Gaming.
Oh, okay.
A lot of people think that the KTC means something completely different, but it's just my initials. Everyone's like,
What do
"Oh,
they
I
think
didn't
it
know
stands?
that." I said,
What do they
"Yeah."
think it stands for?
I don't know. Something random. Sometimes I get some really weird
I don't know why,
answers.
but my brain was thinking Kentucky Thai chicken. I don't know why.
That's exactly what it would mean. Yeah, now everyone just goes KT, but that was because when it was KT Entertainment, everyone just said KT because it was shorter.
You put the E in the middle of the KT, it's Ket.
Ket. Man, that would have been a great name.
That would
Welcome to
awesome.
Ket
Welcome
Gaming.
to Ket.
How long was it, or how long have you been on YouTube up to now since when you started?
Well, I started back in high school, but I stopped for a while because I didn't have enough time to actually do videos. And then I didn't start again until when I was back in my tech college. I did that for a year, and then towards probably the middle of the college itself, I started watching a lot of comic dubs and like, you know what? Let me see if I can make something like this on my own end and just see how well it goes.
Yeah, actually, that actually reminded me that for right after that episode 5 came out and whatnot. For some reason, I want to do one now, but the only problem is I have a story that I want to do, but it's so complicated from a story I made all the way back in like 2008
Oh my
that
god!
it would take forever just to make even a pilot.
Dang.
And being well, I'm sure you would probably even say this too, and I'm sure it's from a lot of people as more as they grow up. I want to make it more like what's making it hard and what makes it why I think it would take forever to do is because I want to add more like reality to it and make it actually like stand back and not just go full throttle on it and actually make it feel as if it's like legit or something. And then that's when I'm just like, never mind. Then that would just take forever.
Yeah. You really have to have like the dedication to do it.
That or I'd be going at it for at least a good 2 hours, and then just out of nowhere, I'm like, I'm tired, and then go to sleep, and then just not
Like I
pick
said,
back up, and then not
it's the
pick
whole
back up
thing
on
with
it.
dedication and being able to be motivated enough to do it.
See, now if I had tried doing it like a year ago or something, I would have. Well, if I was doing it back in like 2008, which I think it wasn't really. I don't think comic dubs were common around 2008. I probably could have done an entire series around that time because all I would do is just nonstop create stories and all that stuff.
Probably.
Nowadays, I'm just like, well, that don't make no sense. If I tried to make something, or I would try to make it
You're like
way too complicated.
when you're a kid, it makes a lot more sense because you're not really accustomed to like the world around you.
Yeah.
As you get older, you get more like you get more brain cells and more thoughts and a lot more information and stuff. And then you realize, well, some of these don't really sound like to be a good story.
Yeah.
If you're like a person that's creative.
That or if you are thinking of all that stuff, you don't really want to like draw it out because then you had to worry about all the detail and all that stuff. At that point, you're better off just being like, I'll just write a book about it instead of drawing it. Or at least that's one thing I've wanted to do or something. It's like, well, why not just make a book instead? I mean, if I'm writing the story part of it, I can do that all day. But if I have to draw it, I'll end up losing interest because I'll get too much into drawing detail. I'll get like 2 pages in, and my hand's going to be cramped, and then I'll have to get my arm chopped off, and then how am I going to draw again?
I'm going to get my hand chopped off.
Yeah, my whole hand's going to like start having aches and pains. And I suck at backgrounds, so I can't even draw a background.
Yeah.
But I think we're getting a little off topic, I guess. So back to the main topic now. What got you, or what was the first thing you watched that got you into the idea of making comic dubs?
So there were a lot of different ones that I watched, but there was one of them that I watched a while ago, and I didn't realize there was a comic dub for it. I'm like, oh my god, yes! So there's a dub that I read a while ago back in high school during probably 11th grade. The name of it is called Dream Keepers. Basically, it's a story where people are animals and they all have special abilities and all that. So I keep reading it and I'm like, do they have a comic dub of this? And I just started looking around and I saw a bunch of different comic dubs. And I'm like, this looks pretty interesting. And it just got to the point where I'm like, you know what? I know how to edit on everything now.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of comic dubs. They look really interesting. So maybe I can make my own. Maybe I can ask one of the other people that they don't have a comic dub for it yet, but they want to have one, and maybe I can do it for them.
Was you able to actually get a hold of the guy who created the comic?
Yeah, actually, I got a hold of a few different people. Evil Draws, who was the creator of Explorers of Heart, I asked her a while back when she was still on DA.
Yeah.
I don't know if she's still on there or not, but I asked her if I could do a comic dub of Explorers of Heart, and she said, "Well, that'd be a really cool idea." I also talked to Nexus Chan and Petunia Bubble, also known as Neko on Discord. I asked them about Guardians of the Universe and Rising Shadows, and they let me do that. But this wasn't until I was done with more towards the end of my tech class that I started doing those comics. Because I started in the summer.
So they were very happy that you got a hold of them about doing a comic dub and whatnot.
Yeah, they at first they were a little bit confused about what it was at first. Well, not Neko, Nexus Chan was, and then I explained to her what it was, and she thought it was pretty cool. Well, I didn't realize someone else was already doing one, so I'm like, you know what, they might be able to do it better, but with a time frame that I thought it was going to come out and everything, I'm like, you know what, I'll just do my own, because this is taking way too long for them to come out with this.
Yeah. So
I did ask a few other people, but one of them never got back to me, and the other one was like, you know what, I don't trust you enough to actually say yes. I'm like, okay, that's fair. That's fair.
What was that story about?
I think it was an Evolution one. It was one that I saw on YouTube.
Was it Evolution Squad?
Like, no, it's not.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
From
Emerald is the one that is more around that Evolution Squad stuff. So when you said Evolution,
no.
I was like,
someone completely different. But yeah, I asked them and they said, no, you can't really do this. I'm like, darn it. There are a few other ones that I want to try and ask, but I'm like, I'm not sure if they would say yes to it. But yeah, we'll see.
Do you ever have people after you would do it for these ones, have people then sort of like not really copy, but then be inspired to do a comic book for the exact same thing that you did after you did it first or something?
Yes.
Or was you the first one to do a comic dub for either of those?
What makes it very interesting that I was actually the first one to do it. I was the first one to do it for Rising Shadows. I was the first one to do it for Guardians of the Universe. And I am still the first one to do it for Explorers of Heart.
So no one else has done a comic dub for Explorers of Heart yet?
No. For Rising Shadows and Guardians of the Universe, there's already an episode 1 of those two.
Yeah.
but the style of how it's edited and everything is completely different.
Does it feel like you're watching like an actual completely different thing, or a different type of like atmosphere to it or something?
When it comes to the atmosphere, probably, but in the way of like probably seeing it being worked on, it's definitely different, but it's still the same area.
Yeah. Was
I
it
mean,
hard?
everyone's gonna have a different style of how they do things.
Yeah. Was it hard to do like your first episode of doing a comic dub, or is it like not that hard?
Oh
Like
my
like what's the
god.
process you have to go through when making an episode?
Okay, I'm gonna say how I did it before and then now. Before, the first thing I ever did was I got all the pages together. I made sure I had all of them. After that, I did a casting call to see who would want to voice act. If anyone out there is watching this or anything like that, I will link KTC to the event page that I made for the first comic dub that I did. I'm gonna say this now. I don't vent, but this made me vent. If I vent, it's very, very rare for me to vent. Because normally, I don't stay angry for very long, and I
Yeah.
don't really hold a grudge. But this made me very, very angry and very, very irritated. Because everything that was going on was making me irritated and angry. So basically, what was going on was that I had I had almost all the VAs, I had the actors, I had everything prepared. I even had a date of when this was supposed to come out.
Yeah.
You know the date of when it was supposed to come out?
When was that?
December. December.
December of 2019?
Well, the first one that I ever did was not the Guardian. It was not the 3 series I was working on. It was actually one before that.
What was
There
that
was
one?
actually there was 3 different ones before that. They all came from a group that I made, that I still run. It's called Pokemon Rescue Team.
Oh.
That one's about to die anyway, so I'm not really concerned about it anymore.
So there was Rescue Team and Mystery Dungeon.
Yes. But this one was an original story.
Yeah.
Because it was a roleplay group, but someone decided to make art style of it. So what happened was, I told the person that made the art style of their character role playing, and I was saying, you know what? Let me do since you're doing like a comic thing of it, let me do a comic dub of it. And he was cool with it, but it took me so fucking long to do it. I started back in October of like 2017.
Gosh.
It was supposed to come out in December
And what time?
of that year.
And you was in September at that time?
October.
You was in October.
Yeah, because I was doing my tech class during that year, and I was already doing editing.
So your estimation was to be 2 months and then be released.
Yeah. It came out in February.
So that took 4 months in total then.
Yeah. Which ticked me off because most of the time, not only was the editing bad enough that I had with the, no offense to the person that actually made the images, but my god, it was horrible. The panels for it were horrible. They didn't even go from left to right. It was all down.
Oh, just all boxes going down?
All boxes that went down. And it wasn't even square boxes, it was rectangles.
Was that so it would fit the 16:9 ratio?
I think so. And, I mean, my skill at comic dubbing back then wasn't the best. I mean, I did what I could. I kept going down, but that one kept going down. And not only the fact that I was Because there's right now, I no longer do due dates unless someone needs like a reminder. That's the only time I ever do a due date for lines.
Yeah.
Mostly because with the first one, every time that I try to do a due date, lines, actors getting into the place, I could not find a voice actor. You know the one, and there was one particular character in the entire episode that was pissing me off. Dratini.
The Dratini.
The Dratini was supposed to have a child voice.
Yeah, that's pretty sure that's pretty difficult to find. That, or if it is, not saying everyone is, but I'm sure when people try to make a child's voice, it's probably something you could find in like Resident Evil, I'm assuming.
Yeah, but the person that was actually supposed to voice act as Dratini, they had an amazing child voice, but they never contacted me at all.
Yeah, I feel like that would be like the biggest
Even
like
the
damn it. That would be the biggest damn it move.
Yeah, and the person that was supposed to play a Charmeleon in the thing too.
Yeah.
He had the part, but he never contacted me.
Yeah, you ever wonder? It's like they apply for those parts, but then never reply back.
Yeah, so when people watching this out there, commitment, it's
you gotta reply back. You gotta answer the call.
It's commitment, you guys. Big part of it's commitment.
You're either in it to win it or you're in it to lose it, and we're not losers. We're all winners, or at least all of us try to be, or the ones that actually try.
Yeah. But that back then, that's how I did it with the editing process. How I do it now is much different. So how I do it first is that I do the script first. After, and while I'm doing the script, I do the casting call. So I'll let the people pile up with that while I'm doing the script. Once I got the script done.
Oh yeah, because then by the time you get everyone in, the script's already ready.
I get it done, I already know who's in the thing. I'm like, you know what? Let me go ahead and see who I can cast, who's still there. And then after that, my process is that I do the panels next. So I cut out the panels, I crop them, and I use two programs. I use Metabang and I use GIMP.
What's GIMP?
GIMP is basically a free... It's kind of like Photoshop, but free.
Oh.
And oh my god, it is amazing.
Is that for like the zooming ins and stuff, or like having like one panel black and then coming into color?
Here's the thing though. Some of the parts that you see that have like a diagonal part, I actually had to crop that out and put a black part in there.
Ah.
What GIMP does is that it clicks on that black part, and then I just delete it, and it only deletes that part.
Is it usually like the fades or something, so it feels like it's coming in naturally?
Yes.
Those are pretty nice.
That's how you usually, because you saw in the episode 5 how that like the in episode 3, 4, and 5, the transitions from one panel to the next was much smoother.
Oh yeah, those transitions were really nice.
That's how I did that.
Man, if I fully commit to a comic dub, I gotta remember to use that for doing that.
Yes, please use GIMP. It is glorious. It is a little hard to use at first, mostly because it is like it's kind of like Photoshop, but like I said, it's more free.
Also, here's a question about when making comic dubs. Is it very common, because I do see this a lot, is just a lot of like being zoomed in on one and then slowly zooming out just so it feels like it has movement, or being all zoomed out and zooming in like real slowly?
It depends on who's making the comic dub.
Because I know a lot of times there'll be a lot of panning or something. Or like if there's dialogue on this side and the dialogue on this side, the whole like screen as they're talking like starts shifting to the other side.
Again, like I said, that depends on who's running the comic dub.
Yeah.
No, I don't do that. Whatever whatever that is.
I think it's
But
panning. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
I don't know the name of it.
I don't really do panning. This is not really panning for me. It's just I use a cross dissolve of mine.
Yeah.
So it looks like it's fading in.
Yeah, those are a lot nicer.
Yeah, it was a lot more smoother. I'm like, I like this. I like how this looks. And normally before I had to use Audacity to basically go in, make a reverb for the audio that had thought process.
Yeah, I was always like, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Those are pretty common things too, and they're actually good ideas too. Make it, because you'll definitely know the difference between thought and stuff. Because a lot of people think a thought bubble is the same thing as a chat bubble, and they're completely different things.
It is not. Mostly reason is because the thought is usually a bit of an echo in the background.
Yeah.
And you don't actually, for an effect, you don't actually use an echo for that. You use a reverb. And for the longest time, I thought reverb wasn't in Premiere Pro because that's the editing process I use. But for this episode, I was like, you know what? Let me check to make sure that it doesn't have it. So it doesn't have reverb specifically.
Yeah.
But it does have a specific type called studio reverb.
All right.
And that's what I use for the thought process. The only problem that I have with it is that I have to put it in twice.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, the first time just not got it, apparently.
Yeah, it's always about, like, kind of in a way, like doing like the redneck way, where you'll always find a way with something.
It's the redneck way, my boys.
Exactly. That's like for the longest time before I finally started using like Shotcut, but now most of the time if I'm gaming, I'll just record, end, and then post. If I'm really wanting to edit though, I'll start using Shotcut. But for a whole year and a half, I used iMovie, and I managed to use that in so many ways that people thought I was using maybe like Adobe Premiere Pro for some parts.
Yeah,
and I'm like, no, that's iMovie, and they're like, no way, that's iMovie.
You can still do that with iMovie and other effects.
It's just twice the amount of work you gotta put in to make it look like it's from that.
It looks like it's from Premiere, which makes it very nice.
Yeah.
But with programs like iMovie and like Flip-a-Clip, it takes like double the effort to just make it work.
Well, especially after I think after a couple months, they started updating iMovie a lot, so they was adding a whole bunch of new features. They even ended up adding green screen, and it helped me out for some VR stuff that I never thought I'd be able to use.
That is pretty cool.
That like those cool things, like you'll have your person, like yourself here, and then you got like a really opacity version.
I used to work with green screen in my tech class. We had our own studio.
Green screen's fun.
The class itself. Yeah, we had our own studio. We had a box for the audio parts. We had like a couch and a stage, and we even had our own green screen.
No blue screens?
No blue screens.
I don't know. I feel like green screen's a lot easier to use because I think because usually it's like if you're going to use a green screen, you can't wear green. But I think people wearing blue colors is common, so I think blue screen's kind of useless.
It is pretty useless.
You don't see much green.
One of the other things that I'm probably going to ask is probably how I got my username on YouTube.
Yes. How did you get that?
So the actual process of it, instead of the Midnight Lycanroc that I have for the icon, it was actually supposed to be something completely different.
Was the profile picture always a Lycanroc? Because that was during Gen 8, right? Or 7?
No.
Sun and Moon, right?
7.
Yeah, I always get confused with Gen. The current one is Gen 8, right?
Yeah.
That's Galar.
Yeah. So basically the process was supposed to be a black colored Lucario with kind of like the white mask. And white X's on the back of the paws and the feet.
It's a pretty cool design idea.
Yeah, but then I went back and I'm like, you know what? I can't really, I don't know how to actually draw this, but I think this Midnight Lycanroc, the one I have, is pretty cool.
Yeah, I think I like
Because
Lycanroc in the games too.
My thought process was I'll keep this for a while, and then once I get a chance, I'll change it. But I'm like, you know what? I think people really like how this looks on my channel, so I'm keep it.
So does the name like? So did you? Okay, so you said the name always was ShadowWolf, right?
ShadowWolf4X.
I could have sworn at one point you also had a different. Well, no, that's just from Discord. I was about to say I thought you also had a second name, but that's just from Discord that the name's different.
That's just Discord.
Yeah, Discord's always different.
The
Mine
only
has
difference
numbers.
between now and before is that YouTube was being. Sorry, YouTube, if I have to say this, but you were being a little bitch about me changing my username because what happened was that it was just supposed to be ShadowWolf4X.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, YouTube glitched on me and made the W part of the day. So it was ShadowWolf4X space W.
That's YouTube, all right.
So I'm like, you know what? Let me see if I can go in now and get rid of that. I'm like, I can.
Well, didn't they have like a 6-month wait, or I think they have that now, where you have to wait like 6 months after you change your name?
Ago that it was a pain in the ass.
At the time, YouTube was like Reddit thing, because Reddit, as soon as you choose your username, that's it. There's no changing it.
Exactly.
You can't delete your account because they'll. Apparently, they don't re-roll the usernames.
No, they don't. But then they brought up the updates and everything. I'm like, fuck yes. Now the whole made for kids and not made for kids is kind of stupid. But
yeah, I hate that thing.
Yeah, I hate it too. That's why I put my channel on not made for kids.
Yeah, every single video, even if I don't swear, which I generally don't do on purpose, but if I really do not swear at all, I'll still put it as not made for kids.
Yeah, all my videos are not made for kids.
I mean, honestly, what's a kid doing watching stuff like this anyway? I mean, if they're on our channels and they're watching this, and after one episode they're like, maybe I shouldn't be watching this. That's not on us, okay?
That's on yourself.
Yeah,
dude.
like why do we get punished for this stuff? Because kids are watching our content. We're not asking them to.
Watching our content. I mean,
exactly.
We're not getting paid to have you guys watch our content.
Or if anything, it's like the parent would complain that they're watching our stuff, and it's like, well, that's not our fault.
Yeah,
we're not exactly knowing who's gonna watch this afterwards.
Exactly.
I mean, that's the whole point of responsibility.
All right, what's the next question?
Okay, next question.
I really hope your audio is like just recording my audio in the background. It's just like hear the background.
Oh yeah, your audio is being used. That would suck if this whole time the desktop audio was muted. That would be awful.
That would be terrible. Like you just hear like all this thing, and it's just my disc. What? Can't hear me. No.
All you hear is just me talking to thin air.
Yeah, I'd be like, what the fuck's going on?
Yeah, all you hear is just start laughing stuff. Yeah, that's funny. And everyone else in the comments is like, why is this dude laughing?
I have no idea.
Actually, real quick,
but hopefully
let me make sure.
My audio is being recorded on your end. So.
Okay, yeah, it is. I'm making sure. It's showing the bar go up when you're speaking. And I'm like, well, let me make sure it's actually recording desktop audio. And it is. So.
Oh, yeah, I should probably introduce myself, huh? ShadowWolf4X.
I could probably add this part to the beginning later, yeah. Well, actually, I think at the beginning we were talking about northern pizzas.
We were. Yes, we were.
Okay, trying to think.
What's the next question?
Here's one I've used before. Where do you see your channel in the next 5 years?
Oh no! Someone called me as soon as you asked that. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, I was a little scared. I'm like, oh shit.
Yeah, I can still hear you. You're all good.
Okay, let me tell my friend that I'm doing an interview right now.
Yeah, I like doing interviews. They're just relaxing. You get to just sit
All right.
back, have fun, and talk about
When it comes to
anything.
more like in 5 years, probably the same kind of stuff. Mostly comic dubs.
Do you
Now,
see
specifically,
anything like improving or anything changing that would
my
either be
editing.
better?
My editing.
Fair enough, yeah.
Now, the panel parts, probably just like the same kind of thing that I did for episode 5 because my eyesight is not on direct thing when it comes to that. So I'm like, frick. But I try my best. Also, I think one of the reasons before when you were saying about the reactions, why the first 2 episodes of Guardians of the Universe kind of looked blurry, I think it was because it was JPEG stuff.
That makes sense now.
And the panels now, I switch them to PNGs whenever I export them. Metabang
Oh yeah,
and GIMP. So
yeah.
those are all
PNGs always come out a lot more
those
clear.
are all PNG files.
Yeah, because I
Everything
was
before
always
that,
wondering why I would crank my quality up, and I'm like, it should kick in by now.
yeah, it was all JPEG stuff. Because before I didn't know how to do it where it was PNG. I didn't know how to save it like that. I'm like, how do I do this?
Yeah, but that's where the dub comes in clutch, because then you don't have to read it; you just listen.
Exactly.
If you can't read, you can hear it.
Yeah, basically.
Unless you're unless you're like watching it and you're deaf, then I'm sorry, you might need subtitles.
The probably thing that I only see differently going on is probably maybe streams, because I kind of want to do a few streams where I'm recording what I'm doing or I'm actually streaming the video. It's like me actually playing and doing a horrible job at it.
Sort of like a behind the scenes or like in the making or something, so people can sort of get like an idea of how far you're getting in.
No, I mean like games I play.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I don't usually use streams for like editing purposes because it's so boring.
Well, yeah, that's why if you're streaming, it's extremely simple. You use OBS, right?
Yeah.
Well, once you stream, as soon as you end it, YouTube will just automatically process it and put it right out.
The only problem I have with OBS is that I don't know how to fix the Discord audio.
Wait, what do you mean by Discord audio?
Well, the thing was, there was one time I was doing OBS.
Yeah.
And I guess the audio from my friends was loud as I thought it was when I uploaded it because we were playing Cards Against Humanity. And apparently, when I went back and listened to it, the audio from my that loud.
It might have been through the desktop audio, because I think Discord was using the Discord app.
Yeah, I was
on the computer or on the iPad.
Computer.
Okay, then yeah, you would want to lower down the desktop audio. Like when I'm usually recording these, I'll have desktop audio like dead center in the middle, because like if you were to talk really loud right now, it would be just before the yellow mark, and then mine is
so what, like
just
50?
Well, mine's on like what is that? It looks like it says -30, but I'm pretty sure it's just 30.
Oh, okay.
And then mic and aux, I have it on like 22, so that it's a little higher. So that obviously, well, since if I'm like playing a game, I don't want the desktop audio being the exact same as the mic and then canceling out the voice. So I just turned it down just a little bit.
Having like special stuff when I was doing it, so.
Yeah, it took me a while as well. Like half the time, my videos were just blasting background audio, and you could hear me like very rarely if I wasn't moving in a game or something. Yeah, it was just
the fact that no one could hear the people in the background.
Yeah, that or I think that would have to do with like all the extra audio stuff, like actually going in the Discord
I'll ask one of my friends,
and turning down.
I don't use it that much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I got a good topic that we was talking about earlier that'd be pretty funny to talk about in here.
Oh no.
The scene with the very first battle scene when I'm sitting here trying to get too into Pokemon logic, thinking that there's gonna be a solar beam happening, and this lady gets a entire chunk of her back ripped out, leaving me speechless. Like, so that's how we're doing it. Okay.
I love that scene so much. It's like the people are thinking like, okay, solar beam because she's absorbing the sun, but I'm like,
yeah, because it starts out as like a regular Pokemon battle, and you're not expecting it to go. As soon as that happens, too, it just goes dark from then on and after.
Because you're not expecting the Pokemon to use cross chop. That's why.
Yeah. Like, that caught me off guard a lot.
Yeah, but there are a bit of other Pokemon comic dubs that have that specific type called Infected.
Yeah.
Usually there's not much information that comes from infected Pokemon. All you know is that they've been around for a very long time, and the Pokemon know that that they just like to eat flesh.
Yeah, no, when I read
they
that
like
part
to kill
2,
and eat flesh.
when I read that part 2, I was like, well, that's kind of dark. Okay.
It does get pretty dark.
Especially for this being like the first dub I've like fully watched through each episode. It's definitely something I was not expecting.
Yeah, I kept reading them like, this gets dark, but it also gets very lighthearted in some parts too. I'm like,
yeah.
I just kept reading. I'm like, this got me interested very hard.
I was I think after episode 3, I was expecting to be even more battles because I'm like, oh, this is awesome. I like watching these battles now. And I'm sure there probably is at some point another battle too, because I'm pretty sure, comic-wise, you're like many chapters. Wait. So how far have you read to?
Chapter 6, my boy.
Isn't there like a 7 though? I know I was doing a little more research and I saw that like maybe up to 9, 8. Oh, I must have saw something different then.
She goes up to 8, and then she's doing a remake for chapter 2.
Oh, so it goes up to 8.
It goes up to 8 for currently. Right now, she has up to 8. She's doing chapter 2 remake, and then she's gonna get back into the normal chapters afterward.
Got it.
Because chapter 8 dives in a little bit more about the infected.
Yeah.
At one point.
Well, then I guess as a question I want to know, since you're getting a little ahead to know a little bit more, are we gonna see another battle at some point that's gonna make me think like, well, I wasn't expecting that?
Yes, actually.
Because I'm actually liking that a lot.
Because the Rising Shadow also has a few fight parts.
Yeah.
Because chapter 5 is actually the fighting part.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rising Shadow chapter 5 is actually the part actually seeing them fighting.
Wait, is Rising Shadows and Guardians of the Universe, are they interconnected or something? Or are they
No.
Oh, okay.
Before, when I asked Neko about Rising Shadow, I asked her if mystery dungeon thing, and she straight up bluntly said no.
Well, that'd be cool if it became a crossover. Could you imagine? Like some MCU type stuff.
My own theory about the main character of Rising, it's not a human, but it's just one of those Pokemon that comes from a secret guild and just ended up getting to a situation where she couldn't get out of it and lost her memory. That's my theory in a way, but I'm not like sure.
Let me just do that. It makes it easier so I'm in the center.
There's not like any proof or anything like that.
Yeah. Also,
but there have been many times where she's like, no, because no one's asked her in this entire series, like, are you humans? No.
I might have to watch that one then now.
There has been no question of anyone asking, are you in that series? So I'm like, okay, so this is not a Pokemon. This is not a mystery dungeon thing.
But is the Rising Shadows called Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Rising Shadows?
No. It's just called Pokemon Rising Shadows.
Oh, okay.
However, the Guardians of the Universe one, that is a...
Oh yeah, I think I've played like one mystery
usually,
dungeon game on the DS.
The one thing that normally in a Pokemon mystery dungeon is that there is always going to be a human turning into a Pokemon.
It's actually a cool concept, actually.
It is a cool concept. But in Rising Shadows, that doesn't happen.
What's the main story with Rising Shadow?
The main story of Rising Shadows is that there are legendary Pokemon. They live around the world. However, one day, I think there's like a group of this. There was a war between the legendaries with Giratina and all that, and I guess only half of the legendaries survived. And then they were the ones to like basically go around and like save the world and stuff.
Is Kyogre alive?
I have no idea which legendaries are alive. All I know is that the only ones I know for sure are Raikou, Darkrai, Moltres, Ho-Oh, and Giratina. Those are the only ones that have been shown in the videos.
Dang, my boy Articuno didn't make it out the guild.
Unfortunately, Entei is dead.
Entei is the ice one, right? Or the ice dog?
He's one of the 3 dogs, but he's the fire one.
He's the fire one. Who am I thinking?
No,
I'm thinking of Suicide, right? Or Suicune?
That's Suicune.
I always can't pronounce that name on my first try.
It's Suicune. That's how you say it.
I know. I think I grew up watching the Ash version of it, that they always said the name differently in every episode.
Yeah, they always say it differently. But no, Entei's dead. Episode 1 of Rising Shadows actually explains how he dies.
Does it explain Articuno since Moltres is alive?
Nope.
Oh, Articuno's my favorite of the 3 birds.
Is Entei dying, so there's that.
Well, I hope there's no Entei fans out there. Why? I swear. I play Pokemon, and I say I love Pokemon, but I can't even pronounce the names.
But basically the story of it is that there is this girl that lost her memory. She's going around with two members. One's called Miss, and the other one's called Talon.
Yeah.
One other person is Amber. They're trying to figure out why. They're trying to figure out Naya's past and how she lost her memories. On the way, more things come up, and you start to see a little bit of flashbacks with Naya and her learning more about it. But there's also this one other person called Echo. You don't know what he really looks like, but you know he wants to help Naya. But he keeps putting her into situations where she's just like, "Stop doing this to me, you bitch." But he's not the evil one in this series, luckily.
He's one of those like might be hard on people, but actually cares.
Yeah, he's that kind of person. Like he's hard on Naya, but he wants to help her. He wants to get her memory back.
He's got to keep that sense of reality in check while still maintaining the team.
Exactly. And I guess there's some kind of connection between Echo and Naya. Between them, I guess, because she has no idea how Echo is even talking to her in her mind, for starters. So yeah.
I think I might have to do a reaction series on that one too now.
I'm up to episode 4 with that one. Episode 5 is being worked on.
Finally, that'll make me want to watch the next one.
You actually get to see the final main character that series come in.
And all of these ones, and all of the ones that you were talking about so far, those ones are humans, right? Or those ones are also Pokemon?
Well, all of these are Pokemon, but Guardians of the Universe and Explorer, one of the main characters is a human that was turned into a Pokemon, but they have no idea why.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But Rising Shadows is basically just one of those. It's one of those series that you think it's a mystery dungeon, but it's really not.
Well, that's kind of cool. It kind of like makes you think one thing, but then
It's
actually
really not.
surprises you with something
Yeah,
completely different.
which made me interested in this series. Sweet. What makes it more interesting is that series is already up to chapter 12.
Gosh,
Yeah, they're already up to chapter 12. I'm like, oh my gosh.
these people are they're on a grind, aren't they?
Yeah, they're quite impressive when it comes to art style. So
That the art styles during the Guardians of the Universe started improving a lot. Like obviously the first ones they weren't bad, but they were a good start, and you could tell throughout each episode that it just got
yeah,
more
it gets
cleaner and
better.
sharper, and the
Yeah,
colors.
the only one thing that I have to say about it is that I think what she accidentally does is forgets to take the cap locks off. Because you see at the end of chapter 5 is that the words are in caps. What? Why is this in caps?
I mean,
I'll have to ask her about that. Like, did you accidentally leave caps lock on when you're doing it, or it's just that a default?
probably just to make it feel more unique.
Maybe, but I think it'd be better if it was just what it was from chapters 1 to. Because then you actually.
Wait, so I actually didn't
tell.
even notice that then, with the font.
None of the so the font in chapters 1 is normal. Chapter 5, most of it is normal, but towards the end of it, it stays in a cap lock.
Probably to make it feel more suspenseful.
Maybe I'll have to ask. Because then it stays like that for the next 4 chapters. Sorry, the next 3 chapters. Sorry.
Oh, so it's caps for the next 3 chapters?
Yeah, it's caps for the next 3 chapters.
So it's gonna constantly sound like people are just screaming the entire time.
I guess I don't know.
So now in the next episode, everyone has to scream their lines now. It's not our fault. It's all in caps. What can we do?
No. I get the idea that it's probably just a default thing or probably an accident that she forgot to do it.
Yeah.
And like I said, I'll ask her when I get the chance.
It probably was just to change it up a little bit.
Probably, because I get the idea that for me as a scriptwriter, I need to make it like even if the page itself is weird.
Yeah, like all the punctuation's correct and stuff, so when you're reading it, you can like get a sense of when something's supposed to be exaggerated, with caps and stuff, and when stuff's just like
exactly.
lower. I see that point of it too, yeah. But it maybe it was just forgetting to turn caps off, and was just going at it for so long that she was probably just forgetting to turn it off, and it was just really in the zone at that time.
Yeah, it happens to artists. They get into a zone and forget to turn it.
Now, one thing I'm sure people, if you haven't watched the reaction stuff, I'm actually in this in the series also, but not until chapter 5. I get to play Peasy, which is a robot. I use voice mod for that.
Yes, it is a robot character. He's basically a messenger with the guilds, and he goes back and forth to relay messages for them.
My boy got slapped with water.
He does come back in chapter 8.
Yeah, I know. I've only saw like one comic book slide for one of the chapters where all it literally just says hallelujah. I said, oh, that's going to be funny. I said, I can't wait to scream that one.
I know, I saw that too. I'm like, oh my god. I wonder how annoying this is going to be for the actual. So.
What's actually pretty crazy though is all I added was like sort of like a fan effect to my voice. Like the main like voice part of that was actually all natural. Just the little bit of that like fan feeling to it. Like what was like one of the lines was like recorded. I had to do like a really high version, like recorded or something like that, and then just add the fan effect after it.
Probably the one thing that people are going to ask me is, am I going to do a remake of the first episode? because
That'd be pretty
there
cool,
was a lot
like a
of
remaster.
It was it'd probably be like a remaster, but my answer to this is
I think
it's
your
not
thing
gonna
cut
happen.
out. Oh,
It's not gonna happen. If you want to see like a better episode of episode 1, I could probably direct you towards one, or you can just search it up.
actually, wasn't there already a remaster for episode 1? Like there was, because there was episode 1 and then episode 1 with, I think it either said redubbed or it already said remastered.
Yeah, it was remastered. The only problem is it's the same thing. It just looks a little bit better.
Yeah. So then in that case, if you redid it, you would have to put definitive.
Better so the other person that was making this was Dream Homes or something like that.
Yeah.
He started doing the episodes as well. I think he got to like episode 2 maybe. I don't remember what episode he got to, but he did do a remake of episode 1, and it was like a lot better than mine, I can tell you that much.
I mean, the first ones are usually always something for, like, just getting started right into the series and whatnot. So usually first episodes are usually the rocky ones to start with before continuing through it, because then by then you got the whole the whole thing down and ready.
I also did hear in the reaction that you were asking old cast. My thing for that is that they were members that played the characters before in earlier episodes, but they said that they didn't want to do it anymore, and they had to recast for that character.
That's what I figured, because when it said old cast and then cast, I was like, did somebody replace the voice actor?
What I had told them is that even if you guys do decide to, hop out of this, I will still go into the episode itself and put in the old cast and still make you guys recognized in the series. So, I forgot to do that for this episode.
Yeah.
And that's why you didn't see it in episode 5's credits. Just because I was like, you know what? I just want to get this done. This took me forever to do.
So was the main character replaced too? Because I could have sworn that on a couple parts I was like, well, it does sound a little bit different, but they did sound pretty similar actually. Like at some points I was like, well, it sounds like the same person.
Here's the thing. Some of the lines I didn't actually get a chance to get from them.
Yeah.
So I asked one of the other voice actors from one of the other series that I knew that probably could have a voice close enough to it to do that line for me.
That's always also a pretty good idea too, is to try and still keep that feel as if it's the same thing. Because that's like in some cartoons or movies where like you'll have that distinct voice, and then let's say the actor doesn't want to come back for the next season, and then someone else voices it. It throws you off mentally so much that you're just like, this just doesn't feel right.
Yeah, and I can say for a fact that Yeleni Ksenia does a really good job as Yeleni. I would have to agree that she does need a little bit more emotion when it comes to expressing herself.
Is that the one that's voicing it right now?
Yes.
Yeah, it's pretty good. There were a couple times where I actually still thought it was the original one. So they did a really good job keeping the same similarity to the original
also,
one.
Because when I put in the voice area,
yeah,
the creator had me put a specific voice pitch, like the range of what the voice should sound like.
Ah.
So every time that I asked about a new character that needed to have a voice to, or like a range, she would tell me what it needed to be like.
That makes sense, yeah.
Now, two of the characters that I haven't really had to change like the entire time, besides the very first episode, was besides Liva, I have not had to change from Hover at all. It's been the same voice actor for him. For Liva, at first, it was a different person, but only because, it was a short time.
Yeah.
but since it's now like an actual main character, I have Ari play as her.
So who all from the old cast has still been in the exact same thing from up till now? Like from like the actual main group, or did most of them that were part of the old cast not
most
continue?
of no.
What about Hoverboots? Is that still the same voice actor from?
No. Same voice actor.
Oh.
Like I was just saying, the Hoverboots is the only one that. Hoverboots has been one of the ones that I haven't had to change from first episode.
So that's an OG. That's the original.
Yeah, Hoverboots, Manaphy. As far as I know, trying to think. Well, those are the only ones that I know so far.
Yeah.
Because like I said, the other ones have only been like one episode, so I won't be able to actually say them until the next one. But for Floristra, it was actually the Val.
Did that one have different actors?
Well, it was two actors. Cassie was a backup Val.
Yeah.
Because Val had, I'm sure this is just a fine thing for me to say. It's not like personal, but she had sustained injury to her head.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, because of that, to her skull, she had to cover. So she was telling me, you'll need to find another voice actor for the person. Because of the injury I have, it's going to take me a while to recover. So I'm like, okay, I'll have her come in, and then later on, hopefully by the next episode, when Flourister comes back, you'll be a lot more healed up.
Yeah.
Now, for Lyra, when I had her do the voice lines, I went back in and I'm like, no. Like, I cannot accept the lines she did. I'm sorry, it sounded kind of horrible. She didn't sound like Lyra.
Yeah.
But when I had Jesse do it for Lyra, I'm like, you know what? I like how you're voice acting as this person. I like how you can switch from being this calm and evil character to this just psychotic, crazy Pokemon.
That's the one that got a chunk of their back bitten now, wasn't it?
Yes. It was. She's the one that said in the episode, "I'm glad that Zoro fixed me up."
Yeah, actually, at one point, I thought she got straight blasted like a shotgun when that
No, she fainted. They didn't actually kill her.
Well, no, I'm talking about the part like when it got hit. It was like that silhouette type thing where it was like was it all black and then white, or all white and black, or either way, it had like, what was it, a shadow ball? No, it wasn't a shadow ball.
No, it was a shadow ball.
It was shadow ball.
Are you talking about the one that Liba used?
Yeah.
That was No, that was I think it was Night Days. I don't remember what she said in episode 3.
It was something that was like a projectile, and it looked like it went right through the body and just shattered. And I'm like, oh my god, they obliterated her.
That was Energy Ball.
Energy Ball, that's what it was. But when I saw it, I was like, they just obliterated her. And then I was like, oh wait.
Which one was it? Was it towards the end of the episode, or more towards where Hoverboots fighting Lyra?
I think it was when she was about to kill Hoverboots, and then she came.
Oh no, that was Liba. That was Liba. She was doing, I think Night Days or something.
Yeah, she came in clutch and knocked the shit out of her.
But basically, she was basically going, either faint, I'm gonna kill your son your ass.
Yeah, that was it.
Yeah.
That scene was pretty cool. Cause the way it looked, I was like, oh my god, they obliterated her, and I was like, oh wait, never mind.
Yeah. It's like later in the episode, you're like, wait, she's still alive? Fuck.
I actually have a very funny story about what I think Emerald was telling me about when I was auditioning for the PZ role. Actually, is that everyone was telling me that Stellar Steele is like a very known voice actor in some stuff. And so
yeah, he is.
when I auditioned for the role, Emerald's like, well, Stellar Steele is also doing this role. I said, who's Stellar Steele? He goes, and he's like pretty much a guy that you can find in almost any comic that you can think of because he's just everywhere. And I was like, well, then that means he's probably going to get my role then if he's that popular. And then when I was chosen, Emerald goes, oh my gosh, you beat Stellar Steele. And I said, what? And he goes, you beat Stellar Steele and get in the part. I said, is that a big deal? And he says, yeah, it's a big deal.
Well, when I was looking through the voice auditions, the way that Stellar Steele did it for the robot was pretty good, but...
Well, yeah, I thought it was good, too. That's why I was like, well, Stellar Steele's probably going to get it, I guess.
It was a bit fast for my part. He did it a bit fast. Like, he was kind of like in a rush to do it. But yours had a bit of, like, pacing that I could actually follow. Like, you know what? Between these two, because it was a little hard to decide. Like, I wanted to go with Stellar Steele, but...
Trust me, I wouldn't blame you at all, being that everyone kept telling me that he was a popular one.
Like, you know what? I gotta go with KTC because just the way it...
Honestly, I'm thankful that you chose me. Because this is actually like the only first actual comic dub I've ever been in. So for me, I was like, wow, this is pretty cool, actually. Because Emerald's the one who told me to do it because he was doing them. And I said, I'll give it a shot.
I think what's going to happen is that later on in the episode, towards 8, 9, 10, is that they're going to bring in another main character besides Manaphy.
Oh, believe me, I have a wide variety of voices.
I'm not sure if there is, but that's my theory because I'm like, this character that's holding Liba looks like he's going to be a main character. Either a main or supporting that's going to have a lot of lines like Hover Boots. Because Hover Boots is a main character, but he's also supporting.
Oh, yeah. I like Hover Boots. That's a real badass right there. I ain't gonna lie. Even though he almost died, still a badass.
Indeed.
He sure did kick ass, though, but it was kind of like watching Godzilla versus King Kong. He was King Kong, but Godzilla still beat him. Although I'm upset with that movie. I'm upset that they beat my boy King Kong like that.
Is there any other questions?
Let's see. Well, I guess here's a question for what I'm wondering. How much more is PZ in it, actually? Because I know you said he does come back, and, well, from the part I've seen, I kind of actually like his character a lot, actually.
I don't know how much he comes back. All I know is that he comes back in episode 8.
That might have been the shot that I was looking at.
Yeah, but he's more kind of like a minor support.
Yeah. All right. I don't know. I think that's pretty much most of the questions because we've been in it for an hour and 10 minutes. So I guess maybe as a little extra thing, here'd be something that we could do that's pretty fun. Have you done any like voice acting for your own characters or for any things yourself?
I have not done my own characters when it comes to the comic dubs, but I have done other projects. What's funny enough is that I was actually supposed to be a narrator actor but the project never went through.
Like some Morgan Freeman type? Where it's like, hello there.
No, actually, it was for a original Yu-Gi-Oh thing, and I was supposed to be the narrator.
Oh, that'd be pretty badass.
Because I was supposed to do the previously on Yu-Gi-Oh, and then I would do next time on Yu-Gi-Oh.
That'd be the best lines to do.
That's how I was doing the voice, and I got me on. Like, I was auditioning for it, and that's how I did it for the line. And he was saying, like, later on this might become a thing. I'm not sure. I'm still... Yeah, I think it was still at school and stuff, so I'm like,
yeah.
I don't know if this will come back. All I know is that they needed a narrator at that point, because...
Like some Dragon Ball type stuff, too, or some Pokemon, where you got the narrator at the beginning and the end.
Because the way this was looking was, like, kind of like a futuristic kind of Yu-Gi-Oh, where, like, they still, like, it's half the Shadow Realm working, like, in the real world, but also Yu-Gi-Oh at the same time.
That's a cool concept.
I know, I'm like, this is interesting. Besides that, currently, I play as a minor character in a GOTU, which I've never done before. I've never done that kind of project before.
What kind of voice do you do for that one?
I play as Axel Blight.
What do you sound like when you're doing that character?
What's funny enough is that this is the voice I use for him.
Well, that must be
easy.
I
use for him. It's awesome.
Bro, that's like the best moments is when you can just use your natural voice.
I'm like, wait, my actual voice got me this for holy shit.
Yeah, I know. I'm sure it's not like all the time or not very too stereotypical, but a lot of times when you're doing comic dubs, there's not many people that speak like full, like there'll be some English, but I'm sure most of the time you're gonna get mainly like some like
what's funny enough about
mid English
is that the way he actually speaks as his character, it is actually almost his real voice.
That's not his real voice?
No, I've actually heard his real voice from well, it is his real voice, but he's got a bit of a pitch to it.
So his voice is a lot deeper.
Well, it's like I said, it's hover boost.
Yeah.
But he makes it a bit more. I don't know how to explain it. I guess once you hear the outtake of how it works, you'll understand.
Yeah, outtakes are fun because those are funny to do.
And I told you like in the thing, like you didn't watch the outtakes.
Were those were after credits, right?
It's after the whole episode is done.
That's what I figured, because usually when it gets to credits, I'm thinking that's usually the end or whatnot.
No. If you don't watch the entire credits, you won't be able to see the part that say, and now, bloopers.
I think me and Emerald need to go back and just make a video compilation of just watching the bloopers.
You actually hear, in the outtake, Hoverboot's his actual voice, because he actually fell out of his seat during episodes.
Wait, he falls out of his seat?
So when he was voice acting, when he was doing the lines, he fell out of his chair.
Oh my gosh.
He's okay, like, but I think he hit his elbow or something when he fell out of his chair.
That's gotta hurt.
It was, but it was also funny the way he sounded when he was doing it.
Yeah.
And what also makes it interesting enough is that I didn't make that particular episode.
Wait, what?
So here's the thing. While I was doing one of the episodes for either Rising Shadows or Explorers of the voice actor for Talon, whose name is Zero, in the he actually does his own videos, and he showed me one of them. Like, you know what, this is pretty good. So what was going on was that I was a little too busy doing the other. So what I asked Zero is that while I'm doing this particular one. Can you go ahead and do this episode?" And he said, "Sure." So that's how, when one episode was already done, I was asking him when the next one was coming out, and that's why the time frame between some of the episodes for the uploads looked a little bit closer than the ones that I've done before.
Well, that's some smart thinking though. So because if not, it would take like forever for people who maybe like a certain one, they would have to wait double that amount just to get to the one that they wanted to see. Whereas when you got two people doing it, both people that like the different ones separately both get what they want.
He did episode 3 of Guardians of the Universe.
Yeah.
He then did episode 3 of Rising Shadow. And the Explorers of Heart ones, I did myself.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't sure how he was going to handle them. So I'm like, let me handle these. You do these ones while I'm working this.
Yeah.
But luckily enough, I already had all the lines and everything for him already. So I just went ahead and, I threw him everything. And even if he didn't have the panels, he had the pages. And so I'm like, you know what? He can do this himself. He'll be able to crop it out and everything. So there's that.
Well, I mean, this was very fun. Actually getting to, like, sit back, relax, and actually talk about some YouTube stuff, some comic dub things.
Some future projects that I want to do, besides Pokemon, is that I want to try... There's a few different ones I want to try. I want to try a Warrior Cat one. I want to try and see if I can... When I get better at doing editing and all that, I want to see if I can do Dream Keepers. That's more of like one of those bigger comic dubs that I want to try and do. Because there's a lot of characters in that show.
Is that also the one you were saying that you watched first?
Well, it wasn't what I watched. I read it.
Well, yeah.
Because they have their own website. But then later on, a few months ago, I found a dub of it on YouTube. I'm like, oh, they actually have a dub of this.
So I'm sure, but I'm sure though, since you read that, that would be something where it's like, since it was something you've read first and you really enjoyed, that's probably why you're interested in doing that.
Well, there was actually one other reason. I was actually supposed to play one of the characters in that. I was supposed to play one of the characters in book 3 or chapter 3 or something like that. I was supposed to play, and you're probably going to laugh at this, I was supposed to play the Mafia boss.
The Mafia boss?
Yeah, I was supposed to play as the Mafia boss.
It's like, hey, Tony, you know what I'm saying? I'm ready for my money.
Actually,
you ain't paid me yet.
I was using a deeper voice I was doing, all right. Well, it seems that you have gotten to the trouble. I know you give me this particular item, or I'm going to have to shoot your head from your body where you stand.
So you sound a little more like, hey, buddy, my buddy Tony over here says you ain't paid me yet. What do you think I am, some sort of free charity or something? Now, you better give me my money, or I break your fingers. Am I understood? Or I have my friend Charlie over here come up behind you while you're sleeping. Watch your eyes, buddy.
Pretty much like that.
Gotta get that New York vibe in or something.
Pretty much, yeah.
Now get out of here, my stick's getting cold.
My stick's getting cold.
I only got that because I used to play the Mafia games, and oh my gosh, Mafia 2 is my favorite.
Yeah, but again, like, I was supposed to play the Mafia boss, but I don't know where they are for it, because I lost contact with the group that was doing it.
Yeah.
I don't even know where that went, honestly. I'm still subscribed to their channel, but it doesn't look like they ever really started it, so I'm
like, are you talking about the dub one?
Yeah, it didn't look like they did the dub version of it yet, and I'm not gonna lie, it is possibly as dark or even darker than Guardians of the Universe.
I like dark. I like that action, that grittiness, some Zack Snyder vibes.
And actually, in the Dreamkeepers, there are scenarios where death happens, but very dark death. Put it like that.
Is it like, is it stuff where it's almost on the line of like, well, I'm surprised YouTube's letting you keep this so far?
Exactly.
Like some live leak stuff or something.
Yeah, there's some shit that goes down in that series that would put you in do not made not for children in the dark area.
Maybe if it was like YouTube back in like 2012, it'd be like, yeah, well, you can watch.
No, they still accept it because, like I said, they had a comic. They did a dub for it in one of the groups that I watched a while ago.
They might do the age restriction though.
It's true, probably that, but
I had a video that got age restricted.
Like I said, it's a future project I want to do, but there's also one other that I do.
Yeah.
And I actually didn't think they would have a dub of it. Not of like actual episode of it, but like it's this one is called Amulet.
Amulet?
Yes, Amulet. Basically it's where people from a different, basically from human, goes into this fantasy like world where there's this piece of like an ancient jewelry or something.
Yeah.
And it gives a certain power to people that wield it. The only problem with this amulet is that it can end up possessing the person. And the only way to take it away from the person is to kill the wielder.
That sounds pretty cool.
Yeah. The other thing is that the amulet itself can talk.
Kind of reminds me of Venom, but like necklace-wise.
It has its own will and own voice.
Yeah, like its own conscience.
Yeah, it has its own consciousness, but it's not a. It's kind of one of those consciousnesses where it's like, I'm gonna make a deal with you, but at the beginning it's more like, no deal for you. I possess you.
That actually reminds me exactly of the Venom movie, where he just wanted the body to keep and use up, and then ends up becoming friends with it, and just like, you know what? I think you're a nice guy. I'll let you live.
Yeah, kind of like that. But I guess one of the other things is that you can't. It's like a. I guess it's also like it's got its own soul.
Yeah.
But it can end up putting you into a position where you're stuck in a reality that isn't real.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, but also
like an alternate dimension.
Yeah, but it's also an alternate dimension of where it's like a fantasy world. And it's also where there are humans in that fantasy world as well.
Yeah.
But they have been affected by a disease that starts to make them into other creatures. Like there was one scene where the doctor guy is talking to another guy.
Yeah.
And the guy's turning into like a snail.
Snail?
Yeah, he's turning into a slime or like snail kind of creature. But he's like half human, half snail. And he's talking to the doctor, is like, can I get something to like slow this down or like not be affected or something?
That sounds terrifying. Could you imagine just talking and being slowly turned into a snail?
But the other thing is that the children that get sent into the dimension.
Children?
Yeah, children. That's who get possessed by the amulet, actually. They go into the other dimension because they're trying to save their mother a poison that she had gotten from some kind of creature.
Yeah.
And while they're trying to save her, they're dealing with goblins. Because the goblins have, like, taken over basically the world. You know, the whole Sonic Underground and Sonic thing.
That actually, the goblin part reminds me of Breath of the Wild.
Probably.
The moblins or something.
The moblins. Yeah,
Or,
there's like the resistance and all that. Pretty much all that. And in Dreamkeepers, there's actually resistance as well, but not a lot of people know about it.
Yeah.
In Dreamkeepers, actually, every single person in that has an ability that is unique to them, but it's been outlawed by the government. Yeah, the people's powers can't be used. It is illegal to use powers in public. Back before that, people didn't have that law because they were being hunted down by a group of creatures called nightmares. Nightmares have the ability to possess other people and basically kill them from the inside.
That sounds pretty cool also.
Yeah, but like I said, everyone has their own specific power. And the group that's trying to basically... The group that is basically trying to save the world. He has no idea what his power is. He has now unlocked his power. But it's some kind of, like, massive thing that he needs to, like, go and find himself.
Ah.
Yeah, they're somewhere in the episode. I'm like, this is new. I don't remember reading this part of the dub or like the comic itself because I only got to book 3, and after that they were still working on the book itself.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, so he's like kind of like the chosen one, I guess.
Those are some good stories when you got the chosen one.
You got the chosen one, but also it's also kind of in the range of, like, you're the chosen one, but we're not going to make it easy for you, you know, to actually acquire this kind of thing. It's like kind of like the Avatar kind of way.
Yeah.
You know, because he was like, Aang was the chosen one, but he still had to go through all this journey to learn how to control the other elements. So it's kind of like that, but only with, like, one power.
That's actually pretty similar to what I was wanting to do with, like, I made like a preview thing on my channel where I just rough drafted something, and it was pretty similar. It's like there was they managed to make a way of having powers. People started abusing the power. People were then captured or killed for using the powers and outlawed it. And, well, one of them happens to be my main character's grandfather, who denied to give up what he had and wanted revenge for what had happened to him. And so then what's supposed to be going on is that my main character's father, Alex, would have to go through life knowing that he has powers but can't show them because that's against everything.
True.
Or not completely the same, because no nightmare creatures or whatnot, but that's a pretty similar storyline where it's like there's powers, but it's against the law to use them, and so you're in a world where you have something that was given to you, but you can't use it without.
Yeah, and the nightmares actually have a lot they worship and that stuff.
Yeah.
He's like the head nightmare guy. He's like the leader of the nightmares. But I don't think there's any other questions for me.
I think that's about it. I think we answered most of the stuff, mainly with YouTube, like how did it start, what do you see, what are some things that you enjoyed. Then we went over most of the dub, most of the questions that we'd asked now got answered even more throughout into here. So I think we're pretty good with the questions and whatnot. I think we've pretty much reached the end now.
We've reached the end.
You've reached the end. Here's a cookie.
Here's a cookie. Fox.
Here's your medallion for appreciation.
Here's your trophy of reaching towards the end of this.
So I guess only one more thing I can think of is I want to see what you would rate the voices I can do. I've had some really funny common ones that I'm wondering what your opinion is on them.
You'd have to throw me like a video.
Oh, I only got like 4 things, and most of them are from Muppets.
Oh, sweet lord.
Yeah, they're pretty good though. You ready? You want to hear Kermit?
Oh, God.
Yeah. All right. My name is Kermit the Frog, and my wife is Miss Piggy. I got my friends Fozzie Bear, and we got Gonzo, and all these other types of stuff. It's not that good, but it's a work in progress.
I give you a 9.
Now, this one's very easy, but it's mainly just also being loud, so I'm going to have to sit back a little bit. This one's Fozzie Bear. You ready? Ah, Kermit! I see you're doing pretty well for yourself. Waka waka!
My God. Again, a 9. On point.
Here's my favorite one. You ready?
Hi there, ShadowWolf. Hi, everybody.
Oh my God.
This is my favorite voice. My favorite one. Pretty much, it's by,
Please.
Elmo.
That one actually needs to be worked on a lot. Like, it's very hard because it's been so long since I've been able to do that voice.
I'm going to tell you this right now. I want down now.
What?
That was a 10 skill. 10. That
yeah, I
was
know.
On freaking point. Oh my God.
I even had to learn how to speak his language. Like you know how there was always something with Elmo with babies or something?
Oh my God, don't remind me.
How he would go like,
ah, look at the baby.
Stop.
So that one's pretty fun. And then, let me see if you would even believe that I could do this. Stephen Hawking's.
Okay, go for it.
You want me to do high pitch or low pitch?
Low pitch.
Hello there. My name is Stephen Hawking, and I am the robot computer that does everything you request me to do.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Who even needs a robot simulator when I can do it completely all natural?
If I try to go even deeper, it almost reaches Darth Vader vibes.
You do not know the power of the dark side. You will never.
Or kind of like Mufasa.
Long live the king, Simba.
Oh
Simba.
Now it's just regular Stephen Hawking's.
Hello. Hello. My name is Stephen Hawking. This is the robot computer system that I use when speaking.
I'm giving you a 12 for that one. Oh my God.
Now, if I really need to get real deeper, like something like this, I can go real deep voice and whatnot. It's not that hard. It's basically just trying to sound real deep. But I don't know what else to do with this voice. Basically just really wanting to talk with a lower pitch.
Oh my God.
And if I want to sound a lot younger, I just, do this little high-pitched thing. Like, if I'm speaking like this all the time, I sound like I'm, like, around 15 or 16 years old and whatnot.
I think we're done.
And then, of course, this is just regular. So I actually have a pretty good range.
Yes. Yes, you do.
I've always wanted to use them, and so I've somewhat gotten to use them with PZ because I got to do that sense of Elmo, but like half Elmo, because Elmo's like extremely high pitched.
You don't have to go that high pitch with it.
Well, yeah, but when you add the fan reverb robot thing to it, it just sounds so nice.
True.
But there's some voices that when I'll do those, no one can believe it. Like the Stephen Hawking's, everyone thinks I'm faking
My
it.
God,
It's like, no, that's all real.
that was real because I got to see actually. If I just heard you do it, I probably wouldn't have believed you. But like actually seeing you actually, your actual face right there and actually seeing you talk.
Yeah, because it also has a lot to do with what do people call it, like the diaphragm? Because I'm basically
Yeah.
sucking in as I'm talking.
Like this, I'm sucking in the voice so that it's able to do what I want it to do. Now, this is the most excellent thing ever.
Also, obviously, some letters are gonna be like confusing. Like you'll hear me like sucking in air as I'm speaking, so it's still hard to try and say like the B or P and all that stuff while doing the voice. So I'm still trying to get used to how to pronounce certain
Right.
words without it sounding
I
unnatural.
think we're good here, my dude.
All right, which one was your favorite though?
Well, Elmo, you can go burn in hell for all I care. Kermit, you can go die in a hole for all I care.
All right, I'm fine with that.
What was the other one that you did?
I had low pitch Stephen Hawking's and high pitch Stephen Hawking's.
No. The other one from Kermit.
Fozzie Bear?
Ah, Fozzie.
I don't know him too well. I only know about.
He's the one. He's that bear that has the hat, and he's always like,
ah.
But you know what? I actually kind of liked him as a character.
which one?
Mostly because he was the only one that was like actually the mature one. It's just like he has a hat on. It reminded me of.
And he had a cool tie.
Yeah.
And I think he's actually a bodysuit. I think he's one of the ones that has a whole character in the suit, and they'll have like.
I was about to say, like, I think he
people
had a
move the
full
fingers.
character and everything.
Well, I know the head part definitely had to be moved by somebody else.
It has been a while since I actually heard the robot Stephen Hawking's because
Yeah, I know it's not
Like I said
very
before,
often
I-
you hear someone do that.
no, it's not because I usually hear the. I had a friend. Well, actually, I had a few friends that have the robotic thing where they like type,
Yeah.
and they have that specific one. So I haven't heard that in like years.
Who knows? Maybe at some point you can use one of my ranges of voices for something else. Just an idea, I suppose. Could you imagine having Elmo in one of the dubs?
Sweet God, no.
Or Kermit or Fozzie Bear? I feel like if Fozzie Bear was to voice a character, it would have to be like an extremely like a comedy relief guy. That's the only thing I could see Fozzie being.
Yeah.
And I could see
probably.
like
Dark voice Stephen Hawking's.
as like a really dark evil person, or like no, not really like the darkest evil person, but like the henchman, the guy who sounds more evil than the actual bad guy. Because there's definitely a lot of those where you'll have the main bad guy, and then you have the henchman who sounds like they were just born to be a villain.
Well, Rising Shadows does have a lot of characters in it, so maybe we'll find one like that. I don't know.
I would be honored, and I will do
Like I
that
said,
with
there
I will
are
do
a
that with
lot of-
honor.
More characters coming in 6, 7, 8, and later on too, because I gotta do more casting calls for those.
Yeah. Yeah, just let me know, and I will obviously give my best attempt, because
Well, like I
these
said,
ones were just off the fly,
I
but
put-
if
well,
I
you'll
put
see the
effort
ca-
into.
You'll see the casting calls because I put them in. I actually have a channel on here called Casting Calls.
Yeah.
I'll throw them in there whenever I make them. But besides that, it's just time to go.
All right, man. I'm glad you got
But
to do this with me, though.
But I must throw in my ending quote of what I say now. Because before back then I didn't have like an end quote, but now I do. Alright, everyone that knows me. Enjoy the shadows, and remember to howl to the dark. Farewell.
I actually kind of like that outro. Mine's changed so many times throughout the year.
I might have to write that down again, because
I know, mine always changes. My very first outro was just so simple.
That's not the actual one that I used for the out. Like, you saw... Well, actually, if you see at the end of the episodes, you'll actually see what I put. Because at the end of the episodes, I have a little screen of story background with a line on it to the left side, and then I have one of my actual god characters in it.
Yeah.
Because I have a god character named Twilight, and he is a character. So I'm like, you know what? Let me put you in here just to make it more interesting.
Yeah. Alright, though. But that'll be it, guys, for this interview. I think this one was longer than Nushi's interview. I don't know. I'll have to go back and check. But thank you guys for watching. If you guys have not already, go and check out ShadowWolf's channel. It is ShadowWolf4X space W.
No. It's just ShadowWolf4X.
Oh, you got to change it now?
I got the W out of my name, sir.
Okay, so then it's just ShadowWolf4X. And if you want to, I guess, go over there and comment and say that you say hi from me, even though he hears it already anyway. I don't know, it's just something to put in here.
Yeah, probably.
But yeah, that'll be it, guys. Thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button because it shows that you appreciate the content that I have provided for you. If you haven't subscribed,
remember not to ask me about coming out.
Yeah, don't do that. That's very annoying.
Don't do that. I will delete it. I will delete it like instantly.
If you do that, I will come for you, and I will not give up. You will forever hear this voice inside your head.
Wait. Let me do it. If you do this, I will. And I will murder you in your sleep. Farewell.
Yeah, what he said.
You got that one guy that was like, yeah, what he said.
Oh my god, Joey Wheeler.
Yeah. But, wait, what was the last? Oh, yeah. If you have not subscribed, subscribe if you haven't. I think we have over 70% of people that are not subscribed but watch the videos. If I earned your subscribe from this video, then I appreciate it and I love you. Share this video with other people who like comic dub or interview type content. And with all the way, guys, I will see you guys next time. Peace out.
Farewell.